They call it CoffeeScript combined. Take a sip, I know it's quite a trip, 'cause somehow you can write less code to get more done. Yeah! Come on and take a seat, don't end up obsolete. They call it CoffeeScript.
Welcome to the second level of A Sip of CoffeeScript. In this level, we're not going to be learning any new CoffeeScript concepts. We're simply going to be applying them and practicing them using some jQuery. If you played through the jQuery Air Captain's Log course, some of this should look familiar. We're going to take some jQuery from there and convert it to CoffeeScript. So you'll remember if you played jQuery Air Captain's Log that we had this flight selector you see down here with a bunch of different tabs, and we could select a tab and it would become active. The code that we wrote looks something like this. So here we have the jQuery wrapper. On the click event for one of these tabs, call the change tab function. Here is the change tab function where we call prevent default. Then we remove the active class from the one that's currently active, and we add the active class to the clicked tab. So let's start converting this line by line to CoffeeScript. Often in CoffeeScript code, you'll see people just use $arrow, and that's fine to do as long as jQuery is the only library in your application that's using that $. So let's use that in our code. Let's move that up. Next is the function definition. So we can define change tab. For most of the remaining lines, all we really have to do is remove the semicolons and curly brackets. So let's do that. Our code's looking nicer. We can also optionally remove the parentheses from some of those function calls. Let's go ahead and do that. There's one last thing we can do to this code to make it look nice. You see that this word in there? Well, in CoffeeScript, we have a shortcut for this. We can simply use the @ sign. So I could write this line like this. Now let's take a look at the JavaScript and the CoffeeScript we wrote side by side. Feel free to pause the video at this point if you want to take a closer look and really examine the differences. Let's convert a couple more snippets of JavaScript to CoffeeScript. So here you can see we have a click handler. To convert that to CoffeeScript, it would look something like this. Now here's some JavaScript where we use a queue. Let's convert this to CoffeeScript. It would look something like this. Before you jump into the challenges, let's take a look at one more example. So here's some JavaScript from jQuery Air. Let's convert this line by line. So first line, here is the function definition. Next line, we declare the numFlights variable. You'll notice I'm using the @ symbol instead of this. Next line, we have this append. Again, I'm using the @ symbol. And you'll notice here we're using an interpolated string. And the last line is pretty obvious. It's basically the same thing without the semicolon. And that about wraps up the second level. I know it was pretty short, but I want to get you more familiar with using this new CoffeeScript syntax. So in the challenges, you're going to write some jQuery and convert it from JavaScript to CoffeeScript.